You're listening to Ask Dr. Jake. My name is Dr. Jake Tucker. I'm the owner and founder of Good Life Family Chiropractic here on the south side of Lincoln. And I'm coming to you today with another message of health, hope, and healing. And I wanted to share another story, another testimonial of someone who's transformed their health. And if you're someone who's sitting there and you need to transform your health, whether it's because you have back pain or neck pain or headaches, you've been dealing with a scoliosis, or you've got a military neck, a straight neck, and it's creating headaches, it's creating migraines, and you get this radiating pain down the shoulder into the hand. If you're one of those people that are dealing with those conditions and you've never had your central nervous system checked, then the first 5 callers today, if you're one of them, then you're going to get a 50% discount off of the exam, off of any necessary x-rays, a maximum of $65 for your first visit to our office to find the cause of what's going on in your health and in your spine and in your life. And that includes a history, it includes an exam, it includes x-rays, and then it includes the consultation afterwards to go through those. That'll take place at your second visit. If we decide to do that second visit same day, I'll also give a 50% discount off of your first adjustment so that, one, you can see what's going on, and two, we can begin to address it and begin that healing process here. And so if we do all that, it'd be no more than $95 for those first 2 visits in our office. But I wanted to share a testimonial of a patient that actually just finished up their first phase of care in our office. And this is a patient that came into our office after years of receiving chiropractic care outside of our office. She'd been going to chiropractors for years. She adjusted well. She actually went to a friend of mine who was actually taking care of my spine, but then moved back to where her family was in California. And so she was looking for a new chiropractor. And one of the motivating factors to actually start chiropractic again after her chiropractor moved and left was actually that she was dealing with shin splints. And this was creating a response, a reaction, a compensation all the way up from the shins into her back. And she felt that, and she knew based off of her experience that she needed to go get chiropractic adjustments to address the cause of that. Well, in her chiropractic experience, basically what happened is you came into the doctor's office, they did an exam on your spine to see how it was moving and see how your posture looked from the outside. And then they would adjust you, and they would talk about how often they wanted to see you based off of the restrictions in the posture and the movement and the physical exam, palpating the spine and feeling, the muscle spasm and all that. But that's where the exam stopped. And that's, she had never seen anything beyond that. She thought that chiropractic was purely a musculoskeletal issue, musculoskeletal treatment, which is exactly what I thought when I first left the ministry to enter chiropractic school. I thought I was entering the healthcare field to be able to minister to people who are in pain and get them out of pain and get them feeling better. But what I found out is that chiropractic actually got started when a deaf janitor happened to be getting an exam in a doctor's office, and the doctor, D.D. Palmer, found that one of his vertebrae had been rotated and shoved out of position in an accident some years before, after which he had lost his hearing. And he moved that vertebra in his neck back into place. And as he did so, he began to hear again. He got his hearing back within 3 adjustments completely. And so they thought they had found the cure for deafness. Chiropractic didn't become about pain until the 1980s, when insurance companies started paying for their patients to be able to come to the chiropractor, but they didn't know how to do it. And so they just gave it pain codes. And so what we see in our office is completely different from that. If you've been paying attention over the last couple of weeks and listening, you heard about how my son Ezekiel, he got kicked in the head by his sister and his breathing stopped. We adjusted him and his breathing came back, and also went through 3 days of intensive testing at Children's in St. E's here in Lincoln. But it's crazy. The entire medical community doesn't get what we get here in the office. We see people with high blood pressure that start to get better, and that the blood pressure lower, all without blood pressure lowering medication. We see people's cholesterol start to get better. We see people, that have carpal tunnel without surgery, without anything done to their hands necessarily, that the carpal tunnel starts to improve. We see people with these pain patterns in their face, trigeminal neuralgia, that the pain starts to go away as we address the cause of the problem. And the patients that do it the best, they get the best results. But with Myra, she came through and we took x-rays of her spine for the very first time. We did a nerve scan of her spine for the very first time. And what we saw was so concerning that in spite of all the years of chiropractic care that I'd seen before, I took a full set of scoliosis x-rays, and we found that she had two scoliosis curves in her spine, one in her low back and one between her shoulders. And looking at that, and just simply from the biomechanics of that, when you have scoliosis in your spine, it actually reduces your life expectancy by as much as 20 years. 20 years. So a scoliosis curve is a sideways curvature of 10 degrees or more away when you're looking at the spine from the front. When you see that, that puts so much tension and so much pressure on the spinal cord and on the nerve roots, so much tractioning on the spinal cord that it literally starts to break down the neurons inside the spinal cord and break down the pathways. And you don't die 20 years sooner from having a scoliosis because the spinal cord just dies, but the organs on the end of those nerves and at the end of the spinal cord that are trying to communicate with the brain, they get sicker faster, and ultimately your health starts to suffer. And so when I see people with low back pain and then they have digestive issues, and I see people with a scoliosis between their shoulders and they have breathing issues, and I see people with text neck and they also have thyroid issues, that to me is not a coincidence. That's a cause and effect. That's the cause being that the brain cannot fully create function in the thyroid. The cause being that the scoliosis is putting such intense distress on the spinal cord and the nerve roots that go out to the lungs that of course you can't take a deep breath. The cause being that when your low back is not in the proper functioning movement and proper functioning alignment, that the brain cannot communicate with your digestive organs appropriately, that it makes sense that if we leave that there, those digestive problems are going to get worse, that if we leave that scoliosis between the shoulders, that the breathing problems are going to get worse, and that if we leave the text neck in the neck, that the thyroid will never ever be able to achieve the full potential that God created it for, to keep your hormones at a healthy level. And so your metabolism is going to be shot, your hormones are going to be shot, and you'll never fully be healthy again. But if we address the cause, if we look to remove the interference from the healing process, whether that's in your spine or in your activities of daily living or in your diet or in your exercise protocols or in the toxins you're exposed to, if we address those causes and you're able to remove those, you get better. And so that's what we did with Myra. We found that the scoliosis in her low back and between her shoulders was creating enough biomechanical stress that was creating the shin splints. We started to address just the movement patterns of the scoliosis, and the shin splints started to get better. We also found that within a month of care that there was a subclinical ligament damage that we didn't find until we did advanced testing, advanced x-rays to measure those out as well. And when we found that, we were actually able to work that back and start to stabilize those ligaments with purely just exercises and body weighting in the office and at home that allowed her to stop having headaches again. And then, the last month and a half of care here in the office, we've been focused on that correction as well. Headaches are gone, shin splints are gone, no back pain, running, meeting her goals to run her half marathon coming up in November, and doing it all without drugs, surgery, medical interventions. We haven't even talked about physical therapy because we've been hitting her goals so quickly. We just got to look at her second set of x-rays, and she had what I found: scoliosis between the shoulders, scoliosis in the low back. She had a reversed curve in her neck, all three gone. The neck fully restored. Actually has a positive curve in it now. The scoliosis between the shoulders down to just 5 degrees. The scoliosis in her low back down to just 9 degrees. That's incredible. She no longer has scoliosis after living with it. Now, she didn't know she had it because nobody ever examined her for it. And no, going to a physical is not an exam for a scoliosis. The only test that finds a scoliosis is a test that measures via x-ray. You can see some scoliosis. Most of them that you can see are severe, though. Most of them that you can see need a dramatic intervention medically, and they will intervene. They'll give you a surgery. They'll give you $1 million worth of surgery if your scoliosis is bad enough. But if it's not bad enough, they don't even know how to find it adequately. I see scoliosis every single day in patients that have never known they've had it in spite of years of medical care for that exact area that's been bothering them. And so this is something that everyone needs to be checked for. Number one, we need to be checking for scoliosis. Why? Because it is one of the most severe forms of subluxation in your spine that could ever exist. And so if you want to be healthy, we need to make sure that there's no subluxation in your spine, meaning that you also need to make sure that there's no scoliosis in your spine. Another form of subluxation being a spondylolisthesis. Now, a lot of spondylolisthesis are asymptomatic. People will be like, oh yeah, your back doesn't hurt, let's leave that alone. The problem is that when the spine shifts out of alignment, it puts tension on the spinal cord that disrupts the ability of the brain to communicate with the organ cells and tissues at the other end. And so we see this every single day. People will say, well, we don't know how to fix a spondylolisthesis. Well, guess what? If we can create an environment that allows your body to heal that, your body will want to. But if we don't create that environment, it will just continue to degenerate, eventually becoming unstable and not just creating pain, but exacerbating the problems that it's creating in your function. And so if you don't want that to be you, if you want to be healthy and well, just like Myra, pick up the phone. First 5 callers today get a 50% discount off of an exam, off of any necessary x-rays, off of the first adjustment even, if it happens on the same day. So call our office right now, 531-289-7100. Again, that's 531-289-7100. You can also go to our website, goodlifefamilychiropractic.com. We've got a bunch of healthy living articles on there, things talking about cause and effect. And I've got a blog post talking all about my son Ezekiel's story, the things that he went through, the things that we went through and are still going through as his parents. If you know somebody that's dealing with health issues like these and has not been through my office or a chiropractor that specializes in advanced structural correction. Again, there's only 3 techniques out of the 300 different chiropractic techniques that are out there that specialize in correcting the curves of your spine so that they look like they should. Then call our office. Have them call our office. If you know someone with a scoliosis, have them call our office. If you know someone who's had a spinal surgery, have them call our office. I've been dealing with this for over 10 years now, dealing with patients, taking care of them, making sure that they're getting healthy and well. I know how to deal with people post-surgically. I know how to deal with people that have neuritis or neuropathies. I know how to deal with people and patients in cases of scoliosis and text neck and reverse neck. I know migraine headaches. I know back pain. I know neck pain. I know sciatica. And if that's you or that's someone that you love, pick up the phone and call our office right now. Again, that's 531-289-7100. Thanks again for joining me today. If you haven't gone to our Facebook page, facebook.com/AskDrJake, go ahead and go there. Give us a like, follow us. You can see these videos. I always record this, the show and the videos at the same time. So you can actually watch these after the fact. You can share them with your friends and family that may be dealing with some of these health conditions to help them get the health care that they need. You can also download this podcast wherever you get your podcast. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another episode of Ask Dr. Jake.